All right, that's what's up. It's Mr. Varner, and I'm going to get you ready for next week. Yep. So you probably are familiar with PEMDAS, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. All right, that's so eighth grade. That's eighth grade. Well, we're calling it GEMDAS now, grouping, because you might have parentheses, but you might have something that looks like this. And we'll deal with those a little later. But right now, you're going to deal mostly with parentheses. But grouping can happen with these symbols as well as these symbols. Exponent, what's the exponent? Well, let's say you have 5 to the second power. This is the exponent. The second power is the exponent, which means you're going to multiply 5 times itself. So, for instance, if you had 6 squared, all right, then that's 6 times 6. And you may notice that we're using the dot sign and high up in the middle for multiplication. And what's 6 times 6? 36. What's 5 times 5? 25. All right, so that's what we're using now. We're using GEMDAS, grouping, exponents, multiplication. I just did multiplication here, division, addition, and subtraction. So if you can move from PEMDAS to GEMDAS, then that's going to be one of the first things that we need to do. So we have 4 operations, 4 mathematical operations. You have plus, right? What's the opposite of plus? Minus. And then we have multiplication, and we have division. Yes, so we're dealing with these 4 operations, these 4 mathematical operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And let's go back to GEMDAS. We have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, and division. Those are the core. These things are the core of what we're going to be dealing with in algebra. Multiplication, divisions, addition, and subtraction. Those are your mathematical operations. And if you can get those down, you're going to be Gucci. We're going to high school, so we're going higher. All right, so addition, we're going to use the term sum, S-U-M. We're going to use that term sum, all right? And when we talk about subtraction, we're going to use the term difference. I may have spelled that incorrectly. If I did, just let me know. All right, hey, let me know in the comments. Put it in the comments. All right, so multiplication, we might use the term product, okay? All right, and for division, we're going to use the term Q-U-O-T-I-E-N-T, which is quotient, quotient. Hear that? Quotient. So we have sum, we have difference, we have product, and we have quotient. So these are the 4 mathematical operations: sum, difference, product, quotient, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, plus, minus, times, divide by. All right? So if you see this, this is a symbol that means square root. All right? That means square root. You might see it like this, all right? Or you might not. You might see it like that, you might not. Once again, you might see it like that, you might not. In most cases, you probably won't. But this is square root, S-Q-U-A-R-E-R-O-O-T. I'm spelling out loud because if I don't, I might misspell it. And then you're going to see something that looks like this as well. Now, this, for real, whenever you see this, you're going to see the 3. And this is cube root. This is cube root. Okay. Now, let me show you what the difference is. Okay. What's the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. Because 2 times 2 equals 4. So the square root of 4 is 2. Now the cube root of 27 is 3. The cube root of 27 is 3. Let me share why. Because 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So the cube root of 27 is 3. Okay, as you see down here, all of these are 3s. There are 3 number 3s. The square root of 4 is 2 because there are 2 number 2s. And when these 2 number 2s multiply on each other, then you'll have 4. 1, 0. So 10 times 10 is 100, right? So the square root, remember you can put a 2 here if you want to, but in most cases we don't have to. The square root of 100 is 10. The cube root of 125, well, 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. So the cube root of 125 is 5. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to work on is absolute value. So let's say we have 3 and they're between absolute value signs. Okay, so the 3, when it's between the absolute value signs, is 3. Absolute value means it always has to be a positive number. Okay. And this is what I mean by absolute value. Absolute value. Okay, good. All right, so that's the absolute value of 3. Now let's see if I can do the absolute value of -3. So if we have the absolute value sign and we have -3, that still equals a positive 3. This is a positive 3. This is a positive 3. So if it's a negative number and it's in the absolute value, if it's between the absolute value signs, then it's going to be a positive number. Okay? So whenever you see this, if it was 13, that would be a positive 13. That doesn't look right. It looks messy. All right, so let's clean that up. That would be positive 13. All right. If that was a negative 13, you know, that negative number doesn't look clean either. I'm going to clean that up. Let's say it was a negative 13, then it's still going to be positive 13. Anytime something is in the absolute value lines, these 2 lines that say absolute value, it means it's going to be a positive number. So I know that's a little confusing. But look, it's all going to make sense. It's all going to make sense. So if you work with us, trust me, it's all going to make sense in the end.